Hi lads, in this video I'm going to go through the 2018 question 5 from the higher level paper. It tells the figure shows a logo for a locksmith shop. The logo is subject to transformations in the following order. Axial symmetry is from P to P1, translation is from P1 to P2, central symmetry is from P2 to P3, and then rotation clockwise about point O until point P3 reaches the line OL. So then part A, draw the given figure, and then part B, determine the image of the logo under each of the above transformations. So basically part A is draw this here, and part B is do all of this at point P1, P2 and P3. To start off this question, a lot of people would generally say to me like, oh, where do you actually start the question on the page? With A3 you're going to be tight for space working from home. Generally what we do is, in the exam you'd have A2, so you wouldn't really go off the page, generally you shouldn't be. So I generally tell people to actually look at where the logo is. So you can see, if I have to draw like a box around here, it's almost as if you're drawing this in the top left of the page, and everything else is going to fit around that area then. Another way is to actually try and visualize what it would look like. So when P starts here, first thing is axial symmetry through P1, so you're going to kind of be flipping the image over and tilting it down the way slightly, so it's going to be fitting around this sort of area here. P1 to P2 is translation, so you're going to be sliding it along this direction here. Then P2 to P3 you're going to be flipping it back up over here for central symmetry, and the rotation you're going to be turning it around like that there. So generally the top left of the page here is going to suit me in terms of what I was saying in the first part. If you draw a box around and see where it's going to fit on the page. So I'm going to draw on the top left. I'll just keep it down maybe slightly a bit, just for the part where it says P3, in case it goes slightly above that. So I'm going to start mine roughly maybe about here. So for anybody who may be wondering, I'll go down maybe about 80 mil and see how I get on from there. So I'm going to take it down 80 mil, that's going to be for my centre line where P is going to be. So for point P, I'm going to start at about here, and I just roughly went in about 110. So the first thing for point P is that it's going to be 20 mil out, and then we're going to go another 40 mil, and then it's going to be a radius 20 after that. So I'll just draw my radius 20, and the circle is going to be heavy all the way around, so it's not stopping anywhere. There's my circle drawn in, and I can draw in my straight line here, going up, and I'm told a total of 20, so what I'm going to do is just go above 10 and below 10. So 10 there and 10 there, and take them two lines straight across, and then take this line vertically there, and there's also going to be a 10 mil line in between, the point halfway across there. Even though it doesn't say it, you can kind of see if you were to join the corners there, obviously 20 by 20, you're going to get a centre line then there. And what that gives us then is we have a line coming from here to here, and then we have these two connecting here, this connects back to here, and this one also connects to here. It's a bit tricky to actually start off the question. I don't need any other lines. I need to connect them two together there, and then my last one will be like a 45-degree line connecting there to there, and that's it then. So it's actually tricky enough to actually get the logo started off. Now I can draw in heavy, just basically what I'm going to see. So that's what I have, and I'll just go over my circle again to make it a bit heavier. It's just with the lead I actually have in it, it's not going to be as heavy as the actual pencil. But there we go. And importantly, the label point P there. So there's our actual logo drawn. So we get a lot of marks for actually getting that set up there and drawn. It does take a bit of time, but it's important to get it done right. So after that then, for P1, we have a vertical line going down there, and we're told there is a 50mm gap between P down to there, and then it's across 30 to find P1. So that's the position of our P1 is going to go. So I'll just label P1 there. And looking at my question again, it tells me it's axial symmetry. So the first thing to do for axial symmetry is connect P to P1. We bisect that line. So taking a distance greater than halfway, swing an arc each side of the line. Going across. Join our centres. And I'm drawing in my axis there now. After that, we go perpendicular to our line there, which is basically the same as going parallel to P1. The first thing I'm going to do is draw my centre. So get my circle drawn in again. So take the distance from the centre to the axis and step that across there. There's the centre of my circle now. And I can draw in my circle now fully. And I can see from the question P connects to that centre there. So I can connect P to that centre there as well. What I'll do is I'll actually label it. So C and then C1. So C for centre. The next point I'm going to take is going to be this one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a series of key kind of points that I'm going to need, and then go from there with the rest. So maybe the idea of taking maybe these two, and then I'll be able to actually connect up all my lines again then in the view below then to actually get it. Or even just taking these two here. Because they're parallel lines, I'll be able to draw a perpendicular line here then to actually get the rest of them. But it's just important you have to take a few of them at least so the examiner can see it. So I can see there where I'm going now with it. So I'm taking them down parallel and then checking to make sure I know which one I'm going to. For example, is it going here or here? We always remember to take our distance from the actual point to the line and step it across so I can see. So that's going to be this point here. And the one below is obviously going to be the one that hits it here. And I can take the next two and just show it to the examiner. So you could just basically go like this here and just take these out parallel because you know they're going to be parallel. But just sometimes there's a certain amount of marks going for taking a certain number of points down. So I'm just going to take these two here as well. And then I'll be able to draw the rest. You don't take every single point. So this one next is going to go out here. And the last one is going to go out there. So you can see they'll pass through each other because they're all on the same line. And when I go perpendicular, you'll see that they'll hit off each other there and there. So you can see everything's actually lining up. Sometimes if you're inaccurate, you're going to start seeing things that are going to be messed up. You might have a line going higher than what it should be, or an angle going further than what it should as well. So So you try to keep it as tidy as you can and work to the measurements given. Even if it's half a mil difference you stretched out in your compass, that can make a huge difference later on in the question. So after that then, I need to start taking my actual excuse me, my points and connecting them all up. So what I'll do is, I know that this is going to be on the bottom here. Sorry, this one is going to be along there. So what I'll do is, that point is now there, so I can connect these two together. That connects to P1, and I can start going from the opposite side as well then. So this one here, I can take that line out. I can take this distance on my compass. I can mark that there. I get this angle here. And then I can take the next line out. And what I can do is I can step this one out then this way. Or I can take that distance there and swing it. This line here is this one. So what I can do is, I can just very simply take that line out there. That's where it stops. And I have the next line. And then for my last point I'm going to take this point here, draw it in like that, take this distance on my compass, and there it hits that point there, and that connects to the outside there. So that's the axial symmetry now completed. And I'll just go over this in heavy so you can clearly see it. Now the next part, P1 to P2 is going to be translation. So it says I have to go 55 and then 35 from P1. So I'll just extend P1 out and then go 55 to there, and then add the 35 onto that, and then it's down 25 then. So from this point here, go down 25, and that's going to give me P2. So for translation, all the points are going in the same direction, they're all going the same distance. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this angle here that I have, and I'm taking the length from P1 to P2 at all times. So once again, I'm going to start off with my center point here for the circle. So take that out like that there. Take the distance from P1 to P2. Mark it from C1. And now I'll get C2 there. I can draw in my actual image here. Then connect P2 to C2, and you see that they're at the same angle. So what I can do then is because they're all going the same distance in the same direction, this point is going to be out on this side. So I can mark that off there. This point is going to be on this side, I can mark that out there. This point is going to be out here, and this point is going to be out there. What I can then do is, because everything is all parallel there and there, and that line is obviously going to be parallel, from my point I took across, I can take that up to there, using this point here, and this out to here. And you'll see that when I connect those, they're on a straight line again. So now I have that outline drawn. What I can then do is I can start projecting some more of my key points that I need. So once again, starting off at this side here, project it across, and now I can connect that and that together. And then for the more awkward ones inside, I'll start with this one here. I'll project that one down there first. I'll project this one as well. And now I'll start marking them. So I want to find this one here first. So remember, taking this from P1 to P2, swinging that from there, gives me this point, and then swinging from here, gives me this point. So I can connect those together. And this point is actually on that line. So what I can do is just take this out, and where it hits the line just there, convert data to it, and the last one I take it parallel to P1, P2 at all times, and take this point here, get out along that, remembering to keep the distance from P1 to P2. There. Connect those two together. And that completes the translation part. So for the next one then, it's going to be central symmetry. So the line took across 55 from there to there. It's on that line, and it goes straight up, and it's up 35 then. So it's going to be up here. And that's going to be P3. The P3, I'm told, is going to be central symmetry, so all the points are going to pass through a central point. So, to find the central point, I connect P2 to P3, bisect this line, connect the points together, and that's our central of symmetry there. So my center point first, so from the actual circle, pass that through the center. And remember, in this time they have their own unique distances, so don't keep the distance the same. We take the distance from C2 for that center there and swing it across, and we now see 3 over here. What I can do once again is take my radius. It's always going to be the exact same every single time. I can draw my circle fully there. After that then, I take my key points I'm going to have on the outsides once again, so I can actually then draw my grid, or my rectangle, to actually fit all the lines inside then as a result. So I'm going to take these two first. The first one here, take it up to the center, and whether it's going to be on this side or this side, I stretch the distance out to make sure I know which one it's going to be. So that distance there, it's going to be the bottom one, so you can see it lines up there. And this one here, same idea again, stretch that distance out, you can see it's going to be the bottom there. So I now have them 2 points. Next two I'm going to look at are these two here. So take that through my center, so there's that point there, and the last one that I'm going to take through for now is this one here, and that gets marked off there. You can see once again they'll pass through each other. Excuse me. So all these lines are going to be parallel to each other as well. So you can see there, just line them up. C2 and C3. Then we have that one there above, and we have this one there below as well. And just connect them together there as well properly. Sorry, that one. I didn't take that one up to the right point. It should be up there. Now, so the next part is the same idea again. We're going to actually draw out the actual key inside it. So the first point I have that I can draw a line straight up to is this one here. So connect that through there. And you can see it passes through that point there. Connect those two together and connect P3 to that there. Then I'm going to start focusing on these 3 points here. So the first one, pass through the center there. Step that across. Okay, this one here. So you can see there's a lot of lines being drawn, so it's important to only take 1 point at a time. The next one I'm going to do is this one here. Take this distance on my compass. Sorry, it's this one here. Take that distance on my compass there. Mark that off there. Connect those two together. Next one is this one here. It's going to be on the baseline, so wherever it passes through the center, it's going to hit there. And the last one is going to be this one here. And we take that distance there on the compass and mark it off there. And that's then the blocks with now rotating through centre of symmetry there. So the last one then, C3 to C4, or sorry, P2 to P4. So it's actually telling us for this question it's rotation clockwise about point O. So point O is a further 35 mil away from P2. So 35 mil out to there, and it's actually on the line P1. So that's called O there, and there's a 30-degree line then. So what's basically telling us is we're going to rotate P3 through O until it hits this line OL. I'll just put L out here. Until it actually hits that line. So there's no actual angle given, we're just told that when you rotate O3 from P3 from O3 there, from O you're going to rotate it around until it hits that line OL, and that's where your new P4 is actually going to appear then. So what we're doing is we connect P3 to O, so that's our centre of rotation. Most years actually get you to actually find that centre of rotation. They've given it to you here. We rotate that around. There's where it hits OL. And that's your new position of P. So I'm just going to call that P4 for this question. And it's the exact same for the other points. So we're going to be taking this angle here each time. So if I just get my protractor, the angle I'm actually taking each time is going to be 125 degrees. So that's the angle it's going to be rotating around. So when I now take C3 around, like that there, I'm going to be rotating that 125 degrees. So connect C3 there, line it up like that, 125 degrees is out to here. I'm going to extend that out there. Need to extend this line or this arc a bit further. There's my position for C4. I can connect C4 to P4 now. That's the angle it's going to be at. The next point I'm going to take is going to be this one. So I connect those two together. And the same idea again. I'm going to measure 125 degrees on this one. Gives me this line here. Nearly is a horizontal line. And then rotate that around until it hits it. So you can see it actually passes through C3 there. And that's going to be that point there. And what I can do actually as well now is, forgot to do it last time, draw my circle. Take my actual radius there. Draw my circle. And you can see that it actually passes through that point there. And next I'm going to take is this one here. Same idea again. Get your angle. So line that up there. Take your 125 degrees. And you can see from the question, if this one's going to be out here, this one has to be here. Just to show the examiner. Stretch that out there. Rotate it around. And you can see that it's going to be in the same position there as a result. And then we have these 2 points out here. What we can do is, because we rotated along here at that stage, we can just go like this here. Take these lines out parallel, and then from P4 draw a rectangle like that there, and there we automatically have the 2 outside points there and there. And all I'm hard doing now is rotating some of them around to actually find where they hit the top and the bottom. So the top one first, this point here is going to be on this line, so all I need to do is just rotate that around. Take that point there, rotate it around, it hits the line there. I'm going to take the right one. Oh sorry, I took that wrong. Take this distance from O, that point there, rotate it around. Oh, I should get the front, so where the actual goes to the front here. And then connect those 2 together. And then connect that to there. So now I have my first point drawn in. Then after that then, I'm going to be taking this point. So I need to rotate this one around, because it's sticking above it. Rotate this around, it's going to be the lower half of it. And then my 125 degrees. So at that point there, rotate around 125. It's going to give me that point there. Connect those 2 together. And then the next one I need is this one here. So rotate this one around. So you can see a lot of them are on the same lines, or appearing to go across the same lines. It's important to follow which one it is, so I'm going to be looking at this one rotated afterwards. Just make a little mark on it. And once again, measure your 125 degrees. So that line there, line up at O. Make sure it doesn't move. 125 degrees is there. Take my line out, and on that one there gives you this point, and then this one is actually going to be on that straight line there. So what I can do is I can just very simply rotate that around into position. So we're going across there, that point. So it just crosses there, and then the last one I need to do is just this point here. So rotating this one around 125 degrees. Take that point up there. The last thing to do is just rotate that point into its position there. So it crosses just there. And then connect these two together. And that completes the actual question. And just actually one more final thing to do. Just put down what I've actually done at each thing. And then finally here. And just put it in there. So P to P1 was axial symmetry. So P to P1 axial symmetry. Then P1 to P2 is going to be translation. P2 to P3 central symmetry. And then P3 to P4 was rotation. Show the examiner. And just before I finish it up, I may as well show you just some of the points. So for example, with axial symmetry, I was saying the distance from here to here is the same as there to there. I remember we're going 90 degrees. I'm saying that for P1 to P2, all angles go in the same direction and they all go the same distance. So we're saying that the length of P1 is the same as C1 to C2, so P1 to P2 are the same, and also they go in the same direction. Then for central symmetry, they're all passing through. So for example, this point here, they all pass through that central axis there, and that distance there is the same as that one there. And then the last one, just showing rotation. So what I'm doing is, for example, I rotated in yellow there, P3 rotated around, to hit that line, OL. That's what I was doing there. And obviously that this distance is the same as this one here then as a result. And then the angle was always going to be 125 degrees each time for each individual one. And that completes the actual question. So that is a fairly tough question to do. So if anybody has any questions about messaging on Teams, they're generally not as difficult as that, but that one was a tricky enough one to do in terms of actually keeping the shape the whole way around. Especially this part here, when you start like this here and you end up back here, you want to make sure it's as close as you can get to it. If it's a bit off, you might lose a mark or two, but just keep going as best you can with it.